We established, Brian, in the last video that we did on Monday night, probably, depending on breaking news, we established that Elon Musk is, in fact, a genius at allocating capital.
Mm.
Established that there's nobody better at it, maybe in the entire world, than Elon Musk. And that he had just recently, last Thursday or Friday, he had allocated $1 billion of his own money. A
To
billion
me?
dollars.
Was it to me?
I'm sorry.
Was it to me? Did he
Yeah,
allocate it
yeah,
to
he
me?
sent it to you. Didn't you get it? Check
Mm.
your emails, man. I mean, come on. So he had put in $1 billion into Tesla stock,
Well, some of that goes to me.
which that's true. That's true. That helps you. It absolutely helps you. So he put that $1 billion in, absolutely knowing everything that there is. Nobody knows more about Tesla than he does. And therefore, if he's going to put $1 billion in, he must know a few things that we don't. Would
Can I
that
point something out? Real
go
obvious, although
point?
it just hit me while you were talking.
Oh,
I'm fed up with this company. I'm out. You know what? I'm going to sell my shares. And Elon said, I'll buy them.
yeah, exactly right.
Guess what? I think I prefer his vision over the people who don't have any.
Anymore. Yes, yes. Some magazine, some online magazine company guy, I forget, because I don't
Um,
ever look at his stuff anymore. Do
he
you?
sold it 210. He was a genius.
He was
210.
he did
210.
great. All right. I um I have some questions.
Mm,
These are questions that I would, if Elon were sitting here right now and I had this chance, I know that if Elon would give me an interview,
mhm.
my questions would be like 10 times better than All In podcast last week, which everybody thought they did a very good job. They'd be 10 times better than any of these people because I'm in it. I'm in it so deeply. And
Yes,
but maybe you'll disagree with me, but here's question.
constantly.
We did two of those questions yesterday. And if people didn't see that, I will put the card up at the end for them to go back and look at questions 1 and 2. That I have 17 at least. And these are possible questions that can be answered coming up at the earnings call on around October 21st, 22nd. We don't know yet. So I'm curious to know what the game we play here each month, you and I, is that I ask you the questions as if you were Elon Musk, and you answer them as if you were at Elon Musk or somebody. I don't
I answer them as if I'm the guy next to Elon, where Elon goes, "Why don't you take this one?"
know.
Because I don't do the voice. I think that would be disrespectful, and I'm not good at it. So it's important to know our limits. But I think I think the questions you asked yesterday were pretty fantastic, and I think it spurred a pretty great discussion with great follow-up. So if you guys haven't watched that yet, check it out after this.
All right. So question number 3, do you foresee Elon Musk a point at which it will no longer make sense for Tesla to sell vehicles to consumers for daily driving, and where all vehicles made will either go to Tesla's own fleet or to third-party fleets? And when I say fleets, I mean even a fleet of one, as somebody
Sure.
like you or I might
Commercial
work about,
application.
right?
Mhm.
Or do you think, if you think that this is going to happen someday, do you think it happens before 2030?
Okay. So to address the fleet of one issue, Rivian vans, the commercial vans, are only available to commercial customers.
Hmm.
Commercial customers can have fleets as small as one. Please buy our vans. I'm asking you nicely. I'd really be happy if you would just buy our vans. That is not unusual. Um, it may feel unusual to us because we come from the consumer side, but in the business world, that's not crazy. I don't believe Tesla will stop selling cars to customers. But what they may do is separate the capacities of the vehicles based on what kind of customer you are. I could see a world in which Tesla says, if you want unsupervised, you're either going to have to buy one of the ones that's grandfathered in from before, or you're going to need to buy a commercial vehicle. And the commercial vehicle may have FSD at 200 a month or 500 a month. Um, Now, if you want a consumer vehicle, we've got FSD occupied, level 3. You have to be in the vehicle. You have to be reasonably awake and sober, but as long as it's not beeping at you, you can do anything else. You can read a book. So I guess that would be FSD awake is all you
Mhm.
have to be. So for that, and why? Well, because the cyber cab market is finite. You could replace every vehicle sold to consumers today with a quarter of the vehicles. Tesla will never be the only game in town. I don't want them to be. Regulators certainly wouldn't want them to be. Tesla could satisfy all the market share that they want without breaking a sweat. I mean, there'd be sweat perhaps during the growth phase, but ramping to 10, 20 million cabs a year, not not insane, not something they couldn't do just by applying money. There's no, once the formula is cracked, it's cracked forever. We know the solution. Once you know how to solve the Rubik's Cube, you can make it look easy. But does that mean they should ignore the market for all the other cars they still have the capacity to build, from which they can make $5,000, $10,000 per unit? Um, I want you to make those high margin vehicles, but if you've got a second product that's still profitable, please sell it. If they were going to eliminate customer driven vehicles entirely, if they were the kind of company that would do that, I don't think that they would want, I don't think they'd still be making S and X. They're low volume and yes, high margin, but are they really contributing to the mission? Yes, by this much. And our costs are fully amortized. The lines are running on autopilot, as it were, not FSD. We're waiting for Optimus for that. But we will, if you're going to keep giving us money, we'll keep taking it. So that's my prediction.
You just mentioned Optimus. So, question number four, you did a perfect segue. How did you know to do that? Elon, you have given various expectations on the Optimus production ramp. Probably the most famous was where you talked about you'd have one brigade working in the Tesla factories in 2025, and then 10 brigades in 2026, then 100 in 2027. But since then, you've been quite a bit less aggressive in your estimates. On one podcast, you talked really almost as if the limit was a million units per year. What is your current thinking about the ramp of Optimus?
So a million sounds like the limit because it's the target in the comp plan, but it's not. A million is the smallest big number. The same with a million or 10 million paid FSD. Is it 10? Yeah.
Yeah,
10 million active paid FSD vehicles. It's, well, why not 100? Because if we can do 10, we can do 100. It's going to follow. And with a million, if the objective was 10,000 Optimus deployed, he could fake it. He could deploy them internally. They could be doing work that, who knows, maybe it's not even valuable. You could fake it. A million you cannot fake. A million means they are everywhere. Everyone has seen one. Maybe not your nephew who's still in grade school, maybe not your grandma who doesn't get out much, but everyone else will have seen one. A million is reasonable. What James Dalma said recently is once it's solved, and this goes for FSD, unsupervised, but this also goes for Optimus. Once it's solved forever. That that huge, impossibly difficult barrier has been crossed. It's the 4 minute mile. It's impossible. Well, actually, a guy just did it at the Olympics. Okay, now it's not impossible. Now everybody is impressed, but not shocked to see a 4 minute mile. So this is, it'll happen when it happens. The team is cooking. I've had a chance to talk with a number of Optimus engineers, and they are bursting at the seams with excitement. I knew before Elon had announced it that the only bot we had seen was 2.5, and that we will not see a bot until 3, and that what they are on now is a number higher than 2.5. and they cannot wait to share it with the world, because it's going to move things forward.
Well, then that gives us another easy transition because Elon, in the past, you've stated that the Optimus hand is second only to the reusable Starship
Mm.
as the hardest task you've ever attempted. So, is that human hand currently at a stage where it only requires a few iterations by talented engineers, or do you have significant limiting factors to overcome, or is it maybe pretty much ready for prime time right now?
Well, as you know, I'm limited into what forward-looking statements I can make at this time. No, we don't know the answer to that. Um, you understand why it's such a challenge. And if you are watching this and you don't understand why it's such a challenge, pull up an image of just the bones in your hand, just how many there are between the carpals down to the metacarpals, and then look at all the tendons, and then understand that no matter what you do, you're going to have limits to the range of motion. Will you be able to do this? Probably not. Not super useful. You could make it do anything the human hand can do, but uh, there's a limit to the utility. And a lot of these parts, at least using the material sciences we know today, you may need to be replacing the hands every few years, every 5, 10 years, because unlike humans, they don't heal. And like humans who've had joint replacement, the clock is ticking. The inorganic material has a shelf life. So there's going to be, it is an astronomically huge challenge. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if there comes a day when Optimus is sold with a variety of different hands. Do you need surgical precision? Some of them will, but a lot of them won't. Now, I don't see them going to, mittens or tennis balls like some of the competitors, but a simple 5 finger independent grip would be sufficient for, I'm going to say 90, 95% of tasks. Let people get a bot that's $10,000, $20,000 cheaper and not have surgical precision that'll be just wasted. That'll be just thrown out in 5 years when the hand is dead because all it did was dig ditches.
So a conservative projection, even some kind of a ballpark. I mean, you say you don't want to give me a future number, Elon, but you've given us many future numbers, and some of them have been more aggressive than others. And so I go back to the 5,000 or one regiment by the end of this year. I think we all know that's off the table because you switched to wanting to go immediately to number three. But is that maybe the first quarter? Are we still looking at, tens of thousands by the end of 2026, or have we been pushed off a year across the board?
So, uh, as Elon, I'm confident he would not answer that. As Brian, I can tell you that the engineers I've spoken with will not tell me. Um, I'm very good at getting answers from people without them necessarily realizing it. But even the people I talk to don't know those answers. They know what they're working on. They know an example is I asked, not about Optimus, just about robots in general. I have a question for you, just about robots, other companies. You can answer that, right? How do you, not you, companies decide which hips to do, which wrists to do? And the answer I got was, we wrote prototype very quickly. We have an idea. We discuss it, we debate it for about 20 minutes, and we come up with a variety of solutions. And later that day, or certainly by morning when we get back, we've got all 5 prototypes to test. And other companies don't have that kind of capacity. Some do. There are companies in China that definitely have a machine shop standing there saying, tell me what to make, but very few. So they have the capacity. They don't just have the best people in the world working on it, which they do. They have And they don't just have the deepest pockets, which I would argue that they also do,
Yeah.
uh, but they have um, the one thing unique about Tesla and SpaceX, and I assume all of Elon's companies, is you have the capacity to the rise to the highest of your natural talents. Uh, and other companies do not do that. Anyone who's had a job knows that you've brought a great idea to your manager who said, I don't like it. I'm not even going to share it higher up. And that was the end of that. That doesn't happen at Tesla.
We have been waiting, Elon. We've been waiting and waiting. Well, actually, Gary Black has. I guess other people have as well. We've been waiting for the Model Q, also known as the Model 2, also known as the less expensive vehicle, also known as maybe a hatchback. Also, I mean, anyway, now that I'm done with the also knowns, we've been waiting for a very long time for the Model Q. And well, I get it that the things have taken place, like the ending of the $7,500 tax credit that might have interrupted the plans. Um, would you be able to? I know you don't use the call to come up with any kind of product announcements, but sometimes at the call you do give the timeline for when you will announce. So would you be able to give us an idea of when the Model Q will be announced? Or maybe part two, is this a US product? Is it a Berlin product? Is it a China product initially?
So I'm going to tell you that this product is called the Green Goblin.
The
And the
Green
reason for
Goblin.
that
Well,
is
that's what we need.
because
One more AKA.
no, we have to call it that because it's clearly a product of the Osborne Corporation, who is Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin. We're not going to Osborne potential sales. We've already seen in China a number of people waiting for the YL because they want that instead of the Y. This vehicle stands the chance of doing that to 3 to Y to everything short of the 3 Halo cars. It'd be reckless to give any information before it's really ready to go. We saw with the YL, it was unveiled and produced within like a month. And I think that is the maximum sort of time that you would want to allow between the announcement of a more affordable vehicle. What I'd like to see them do is not only say, and also deliveries begin in a month, but I'd like to see them say, and also we're starting with the most expensive trim. So don't, don't, don't wait because it's affordable. Wait because it's something you really, really want. There are people who will buy it just because it's the new thing. You know
Yeah.
that. There are people who buy a Model Y and then a year later buy it, then refresh Model Y, and they knew the new one was coming, but they still wanted it. So, and there are people who own one of each car. So uh, let's let's not forfeit sales in the interim.
All right. So now we know Elon's non-answer. What is your answer? When do you think Model Q will be announced?
I really don't know. I
No,
really don't know. I thought it would have been announced by now, supposed to be released in first half. And here we are coming up on Q4.
yeah,
So I'm hopeful for Q4. If it's beyond Q1, I will begin to think it's not happening.
right. Mhm, indeed. And then do you think it is worldwide? Do you think it is a
Yes.
China product?
Yes. Yes, I do. I had someone ask, why build a more affordable model based on the Y instead of the 3? Surely it'd be even cheaper if it was based on the 3. The 3 isn't necessarily cheaper to build than the Model Y. The Y originally had more castings than the Model 3. That made it competitive on a cost of goods sold basis, made the margin wider. But the reality is, if you build it on the Model 3 platform, it's only going to exist in 2 factories instead of 4. We have surplus Model Y capacity. We have very little surplus Model 3 capacity. If you were to if you were to introduce a new Y variant that is the most popular, it would, you wouldn't be able to build enough on the Model 3 lines, and Model 3 is only made in the US and China. Those two countries have export restrictions in a lot of markets. So you wouldn't be getting it into Europe at a good price. You wouldn't be getting it into Canada at a good price. So having it from all the factories means you can get it to anywhere. There's a company called 𝐷Paul who makes a pretty darn good Chinese EV. They set up a factory in Thailand. That factory exports to Europe because
Mm.
Thailand has favorable trade relations with Thailand, much better than the relations with China, with mainland China itself. So there are all kinds of additional possibilities that come up by basing it on the why in terms of scale, in terms of economies of scale, in terms of diversity of supply chain that just make it make sense.
Okay, Brian, we got all the way to question 6.
Mm,
And that it took us 2 meetings to do that. So I think
mhm.
we're going to table the other 10 or 11, and who knows, by next week I could have another 10. And we'll continue this conversation, barring breaking news, next Monday and Tuesday. But as always, thank you for coming on and disabusing me of what I thought I didn't know.
Mm.
I'm sure there's a negative in there somewhere. It's Are you positive? Are you positive that I have to point that way to point at you?
Nope, I have
Nope.
no idea.
I can't figure it out. It's been great talking to you. And thank you, Brian.
Mhm.
Oh, follow him.
Oh yeah,
If
do
you're still
that.
here. If you're still here, follow him. Future Aza. Now it's been great talking to you.